And we're live.
Oh my God. all because we couldn't find the right graphic. I just made it. How did it get lost on my computer already?
I don't know. And you just sent it to me this morning and I couldn't find it either.
Right? Oh my
Ugh.
goodness.
All right. So we're jumping right into this shit this morning. Good morning, everyone. It is May 10th, 2024. And this is the Rage into the Vlogs. And we can't get our shit together. So we have to rush through this.
Right. Yeah. Because I accidentally set the campaign to end in 15 minutes rather than 45. So hit it. Oh my goodness. Oh, we're gonna slap this on the screen right now. As as we go on, we have 12 minutes to go on the campaign for Tall Tales Tears of the Mother, issues 1 through 6. Who's joining us in the chat today on this?
So far, the only person speaking is Allison. Good morning, Allison.
Hello, Allison. And yes, I see you, my beautiful eyeball people watching us from regions beyond. If you're joining us from Facebook, if you're joining us from LinkedIn, come on over to YouTube. Keep Allison company in the chat. And while you're here, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever any of our shows go live. So I don't know. I was kind of like, oh, hey, Rob. Hello, HR. Yeah, I was kind of, I don't know, this campaign, when I was setting it up, I wasn't paying attention to a couple of things. So on the next campaign, I'm going to have to double check everything. Because usually I have the campaigns ending on the show like 45 minutes in to kind of give everybody,
right.
you know, a little breathing room for the last couple of minutes. But no, I had to screw it up. Not only did I make this campaign 1 week longer than it should have, but maybe it worked out in our favor. But I accidentally set it for 11:50 to end at 11:15 instead of 11:45. So you have 10 minutes left to pledge to Tall Tales Tears of the Mother issues 1 through 6. So we're just gonna leave this up on the screen, and we're just gonna go on like normal, because you know it's right here. It's right here. So hello everyone. My name is Daphne Lage, and I'm a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. I have been self-publishing comics since 1992, and I am known for the furry fantasy adventure Tall Tales, which is now on your screen on Kickstarter in its last 10 minutes on Kickstarter. Kickstarter. It is a re-release of issues 1 through 5 of the Tears of the Mother story arc and the brand new issue 6 of this 8-issue limited series. It is a direct continuation of the Thieves Quest storyline. Which is also available on this campaign. If you missed out on anything on this, on any of my previous campaigns, it is on here as well. So you can catch up with the entire Tall Tales story so far. And I am also known for my medieval fantasy drama, Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, which returns to Kickstarter in about a month and a half with volume 2, which collects issues 5 through 8 of this 15-issue limited series. We're halfway, a little over the halfway mark with this series. In the meantime, you can read both my comics online at egoworks.com. That's EGOWORKS. And Tall Tales. That's TAILS online.com. And you can check out all my videos on how I make my comics here on YouTube at my channel at Daphne Lage, Lage Art, which also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network. And to tell you more about that is downstairs neighbor, Nita.
Hi, my name's Nita. I have a YouTube channel. It's called the Indie Comics Network. We talk about comics and stuff. All right, yeah. It's IndieComicsNetwork.com. I'm not enthused today.
Oh, why are you not enthused?
Well, I'm enthused for your campaign. I'm just not. That is mood. That is mood. Yeah, there's work to be done.
Well, there's always work to be done. Yeah. But it's like, for those of you who are just seeing the campaign for the first time, yes. So this, like I said, this is a continuation of the Thieves Quest story arc, picks up exactly where it ended. With the gang transported to another, to an underground city where they're on the lookout for the Fountain of Talus, which will hopefully stop a plague at Garrison Hatch, which is also simultaneously under siege by the Calazarians. And because there's never enough problems, for everybody to solve. So so this is 6 issues out of an 8-issue limited series. And here are the sample pages. It is in black and white. Also, all the books are completely finished and ready to go. Once, it's like once the campaign is over, then over the weekend, I'm going to do all the final counts and get this to the printer. So hopefully in 2 weeks, we can have all the books being shipped out. If you've never heard of Tall Tales, I have a free copy of Tall Tales for you to download on the campaign itself. It is I have a free copy of issue 18 of the previous series. It is a complete issue, so it's kind of like for you to scope out the vibe of the series while you're here. And also, every book is available from Tall Tales is available on this campaign. If you just want to collect PDFs, we have it. If you just want to collect hard copies, all the hard copies come with PDFs anyway. So that way, it's like you can read it however you prefer to. So like I said, you can get the entire set of trade paperback set along with the series as a PDF. Also, we have our vinyl art toys. We have the Silvermane toy, which mine is just out of reach over there. It's right there. It comes in 6 different colorways, including 2 glow in the darks, which you can pick up on the campaign. And like I said, for the add-ons, you can pick up every Tall Tales book that's available right now. And also there is an Eagle Raven starter set if you missed that as well. It is the prequel and the first trade paperback if you want to try out Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn as well in the meantime. If you've never pledged to Kickstarter before, I do have this handy graphic that hopefully will help you pledge without a problem. And so we have 5 minutes to go on the campaign. And I just want to thank everybody so far for their pledges. This campaign actually beat out the last time we put out this series. I think it was like around 2020, I think, either 2019 or 2020, that I think we put out issue 5. And what we did was we kind of like tweaked the files, and then of course I finished the issue 6, and now I just have 2 more issues to go, which will be finished, completed this year, so that I will be able to offer them together next year, so that we can, complete this story arc very soon. So yeah, so that's yeah.
Good
So
morning, Grant.
oh, good morning, Grant. Yeah, so I'm yeah, so like I said, I'd just like to thank everybody who've pledged so far. Um and yeah, and it's like it's a Kickstarter. You guys know how Kickstarters work.
I'm not.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So today is like I said, usually I like to be a little bit more leisurely going into ending a Kickstarter. But like I said, I kind of goofed up on this one. Although the extra week certainly helped it. That wasn't as much of a mistake as thank you, Grant. Thank you. Letting it run a week later wasn't the mistake I thought it was when I
No,
first.
it was not.
Usually for Tall Tales, I don't know. I was running shorter campaigns in the past, and like I said, because I wasn't paying attention to. Hold on. Oh, don't you hate that when you're about to sneeze and want to come? Oh, come on.
Tickle it.
No, it's so so it turned out the campaign I accidentally set the campaign for a week later, which usually I don't like doing because I don't know, I don't like overly long campaigns. Especially when you see like 40 or 50-day campaigns, that's kind of like, wow.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
I think this one I accidentally set it for 38 days. I think I accidentally set it for that, but considering how it did, it might have actually worked in its favor. So we got 2 minutes to go on the campaign for everybody who's who still hasn't pledged yet. So yeah, but I mean, yeah, I think that the extra week might have helped it,
And
and
you got an extra pay period in there.
well,
So-
yeah, which wasn't my intention, but I guess that's how it worked out. And now it's kind of like making me rethink the rest of my campaigns. It's like, like how far could I push it? It's like, I don't know. It's like maybe adding that extra, like you said, an extra pay period, maybe that would help.
I always found the month to be ideal.
Right.
I mean, some people can go a little bit longer, but the 21-day campaigns never made sense to me. The 14-day campaigns never made sense to me. Somebody was like, oh, well, if somebody's going to back your book, they're going to back your book. No, not necessarily, because like as a family of 6, we're on a budget. Speaking for myself, there are times where it's the only extra is going to be in the form of a safety bonus or something like that, which only comes once a month. So given those 4 weeks to run, people who wouldn't be able to back you are more likely to back.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's what I'm kind of learning on this campaign, because also it's like this beat out the previous campaign, for issues 1 through 5. Right. I think that last campaign, I think we like topped out, I think it either at 1600 or 1800. I don't remember off the top of my head. But obviously that's not the case here. Obviously that's not the case. It was a little, I wasn't expecting it to get this far, but it did. And it's like, oh, that's nice. No, really, that really is nice. So we're in the last 34 seconds. We got 30 seconds to go on the campaign. So let's see, I don't know. The end of campaigns are always awkward. the last couple of seconds, Because it's like I can't imagine somebody's like, oh, we got 16 seconds. Let me get my pledge in. I mean, does it still count it if the timer goes out while you're in the middle of selecting? I mean, yeah, I think that, or does it close off? Oh, Happy New Year, everybody. Here we go. There we go. Officially the end of the campaign. Tall Tales, Tears of the Mother, 1 through 6.
Yes, it does.
It does shut off. So it locks you out once.
No, if you're in the middle of a pledge, it goes through.
Oh,
I decided to test it.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
So yes, it's like Tall Tales, Tears of the Mother, issues 1 through 6, the furry fantasy epic. Another one for the books. Thank you so much to the 95 backers who pledged $3,609 to help bring this project to life. And as I said, the files are complete and ready to go. Let me I should have pulled these out here. Oh, not that one. That's for next. That's the next. So all the issues have been proofed and are completed. Let me just take that down here. So, and as you can see back here, this is actually the latest issue. This is the newest issue. So everything is ready to go. I just need to get the final count over the weekend. And then hopefully in 2 weeks, I can get all these books out to everybody. But yeah, it's like, so there we go, Nita. Another one and done, huh?
Yeah.
So
Grant wants to know if your trade is going to be the next.
The
Eagle Raven Volume 2.
Eagle Raven Volume 2 is going to be the next trade paperback. I'm just still kind of like tweaking the pages. That's why I usually have a proof in hand by this point, but I'm still kind of tweaking it. So I should be, so actually over the weekend, I should be sending out for proofs for that as well. But yeah, the next campaign is going to be Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, Volume 2. So that campaign is going to have Volume 1 and Volume 2. And it's going to have all the individual issues as well for everybody who missed out on the previous campaign and collect individual issues. I'm also going to have 2 exclusive covers on that campaign. So yeah, so don't worry. The second the launch page goes live, everyone's going to know about it. So thank you, Imaginos. Thank you. Like I said, like this campaign was a week longer than I had intended, but it seemed to have worked in their favor. It was kind of funny to see people kind of waking up at the last minute. I think we gained like 5 backers since this morning. And yeah, and and it's just kind of like, usually I don't see that jump on the campaigns, but I don't know, I guess this one, because it was, like you said, the extra pay period, maybe that's just what it was. But yeah, so it's like I said, it certainly did better than the previous campaign, which I'm very happy. Yes, it does, HR. Thank you. Because it's like, Tall Tales, like I said, this is the book that started everything in 1992. And, and it's just like kind of nice to see, kind of like, even though it's a slow growth, just to seeing that growth. And, like, regardless, it's like, it's kind of nice to see that it's like, okay, and then trying to figure out, what did I do differently now compared to last time that I got a lot further with this book. Because poor Tall Tales. I mean, it's like, it's had a rough life.
It's so underrated. Poor thing.
And and it's like, and it always makes me question, like, what is it with this book that it's like, that I don't know. It's like, would you call it a hard sell? Like, I'm not really sure. It's like, I don't know
why it's a hard sell, but it is. Well, I mean, for one, it's not okay. So a lot of the furry fandom, it's not their cup of tea because, and I'm not saying all furry fandom, so don't come at me. It's not pornography.
Right.
But
oh, I like that word.
I just
Pornography.
dawned something. What up,
Oh,
man?
I like that.
Me.
We're gonna have to use that in House of Bob somewhere.
Right. And then you have the furry phobic people who
Right.
are like, oh, it's gonna be fucking porn. And it's not.
Right, yeah. Which,
Like,
not for nothing, we've gotten that accusation with Tall Tales.
right.
You know, it's like it would be the only thing on the table, and people would be like, is this, that stuff? What stuff? No, it's not that
it's
stuff.
crazy. And so like, but I think that people are okay. So I think the whole furry phobia is kind of starting to die down again.
Right.
And
because I've been seeing a lot of books
a lot of
lately.
anthro books.
Right.
It's all in the wording.
I mean, should I stop using the word furry, do you think?
Okay, so I have a client who we're going to be doing that with their next campaign, and I'll let you know how that goes. If it makes a difference between calling it furry or anthropomorphic. So,
well, what about not calling it anything at all? Like,
that's what I said. I said do like, that.
Just not using any of those words and just saying it's like, oh, it's an epic fantasy.
There you go.
In the style of Lord of the Rings and Disney's Robin Hood.
Does
that make sense to people when I say that, in the style of Lord of the Rings and Disney's Robin Hood? Because it's like, I'm kind of wondering if I could just like switch up like my marketing phrasing a bit, like, because it's like I wouldn't know what else to compare it to. Yeah. And especially since, comparisons do help people kind of like, oh, well, I like that and I like that. Even though in other circles, I've heard people say, oh, don't make the comparisons in case they don't like that stuff. And it's kind of like Grant says, did you see the guy in the Comics Launch group who had a mental breakdown because people are being mean about not safe for work Kickstarters? Well, I mean, I don't know what being mean about not safe for work Kickstarters are, considering that I'm about to run one. There's two sides to
that, right?
It's like, because like, as someone who's about to run one, later this year, I'm not concerned about people being mean as much as I'm hoping that Kickstarter leaves my campaign alone. Just the other day.
But lucky for you, I went to the pharmacy and got us a plan B.
Well, that's true. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. We've been, because it's like, look, this week has been pretty bad for not safe for work projects. So for those of you who've been around for a while, about my obsession with this game called Seeds of Chaos, right? Which is a fantasy hentai game. Love playing it, love it, love it, love it. It's one of the few Patreons I support. Well, what happened this week is that one of their friends, another developer who was making their own not safe for work game called King Goblin, just got kicked out of Kickstarter.
Oh man,
completely.
I love that name.
It looks like a funny game, so it's like, oh, that
is
I hear a lot of people saying stuff like, all you have to do is put tits in your comic and it sells. Not necessarily, but okay, now I understand what the being mean is. That's called people being petty bitches. I should know because I've acted like that myself.
But it's not true.
It's really not that. It's not that easy. It's not that easy to just smack a,
it just so happens that the audience that's willing to spend
it's there. Like, right, exactly. Because it's like,
I have seen titty covers and titty book TNA campaigns, and by that I mean just the fucking covers galore, not do well at all. There's a science in the artist you need to procure that audience over there. Also, how you're already established in the community plays a big role. Like,
if you've never done this before and you just come out with a book, it's like, yeah, you're not going to be as successful as somebody who's already curated and built that
Right.
audience.
And if you're new now, it's even harder.
Right. Yeah. So one of the games already got kicked off of Patreon, and the developers of Seeds of Chaos have already set up an alternate site with an alternate site called Subscribestar. Just in case, because they're waiting for the ban hammer on them as
uh,
well. It's just a matter of getting caught up, and it was just like, it's just, no, it's not easy. It's not easy, and it's like, look, it's very easy to say, it's like, oh yeah, just slap a pair of tits on the cover and it'll sell, and it's like, no, because honestly, it's like, it's like people want to. It's like, yeah, the collectors of these things, they want very specific things,
right.
and just because you have, a lewd cover or something doesn't mean they want it.
Nope.
So it's like, look, all it boils down to in the end is that, do you have the audience for this project?
Right.
That's what it boils down to, because your audience is that's what's going to determine how successful your campaign is. Do you have an audience? Whatever it is, it's like, remember, it's like one of the top funding books on Kickstarters is okay. Oh, Robert says, is stick figures. So Robert says, I asked my Nightwolf audience if they wanted not safe for work covers, and they said yes. So I gave them to them, but not out of control like some of these massive cover farm. Oh, I like that term, cover
I do
farm.
too. But as somebody
Yeah.
who deals with a lot of cover farm books on
Yeah.
a regular basis, I'm going to tell you guys now, a majority of those campaigns don't do as well as you think they
Right.
do.
And a majority of those covers don't sell.
Yeah. You go look at some of them campaigns, and you'll see
like
5 or
they
6
could have,
campaigns with 0 fucking backers, and then see one with 51.
right. I mean, covers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
covers. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's like, yeah, exactly. It's like, it's like, so what it is that they're counting, they're buying, like, you have a campaign that has like 10 covers, right? But if you really look at the numbers, maybe only 1 or 2 of them is actually selling.
Right. And then their profit isn't that great, because
Right.
you're looking at a price range of usually 250 to 500, sometimes even $1,000 per cover.
Right. Yeah.
Per fucking cover. So if
Yeah.
these guys don't make a minimum of 5K, and some of them, if they don't make a minimum of 10,
Right.
they're in the fucking hole.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So how do you measure success? The money
Yeah.
you spent or the money you make?
Right. I mean, if you're just collecting covers anyway because you like to collect the artwork, I mean, that's different. And you're just like
Right.
hoping to monetize the covers.
Right.
It's like, you know what, that's on you. But as as a strategy, it's not as, yeah, exactly. People forget that the more covers you have, the more expensive it is. Yeah. But it's not a guarantee to anything.
No.
And even then, it's not really. Is it really because it's like, it's the artist that sells the covers, not really what's on it.
Right.
Because just because it's like, hey Nick, just because you have a cover with a naked chick on it doesn't mean that people want that cover.
Right.
Most of the time it's because like a certain artist did that naked chick, not because in and of itself it's a naked chick. And also here's the thing too. If you are a cover farm, it's like eventually people are going to catch on that you're not going to put on an issue 2 or an issue 3, that you're not interested in finishing the story.
Right.
And then that's going to affect your ability to survive long term as well.
Right.
So yeah, it's not, yeah. So I hope the guy really didn't have a mental breakdown over that. I mean, it's like, are people dicks? Yeah. But honestly, I think we have bigger problems as people doing not safe for work campaigns. We have bigger problems than whether people are just going to
feelings.
Yeah, than feelings. Yeah, honestly, like I said, people are losing their ability to sell their work.
Right.
They're getting pushed off of platforms, kicked off of platforms. And and that was the concern with Kickstarter. It's like, you know what? I don't care. It's like, oh, if you don't like not safe for work stuff, don't buy it. But my concern is whether Kickstarter is going to continue to allow people to sell not safe for work stuff. I mean, we already did an
And if
entire
we
episode.
sit idly by and allow them to ban the not safe for work, what's next?
Right.
Where do they draw the line? I mean,
Well, right, yeah.
Hello, history has a habit of repeating itself, and next thing you know, it's going to be violence, language, and before you know it, we're back into this fucking gray puddle of just mush.
So but back to but back to my original thing. So furries. Furries. So I've been seeing a lot more furry books pop up.
Right.
And I've been like really looking at like how these people have been advertising, like talking about their books. And they don't use they don't use any of that terminology at all. They just say this is, oh, they're, maybe, it's like, maybe they'll say they're shifters or something. No, absolutely.
Yeah, they do like the term shifters lately.
But Tall Tales is not about shifters.
No.
So it wouldn't, it's like so probably so my question is, it's like, for future campaigns, should I just like not use the word furry at all and just say this is an epic fantasy adventure and just talk about it as straight as possible?
Yeah, why not?
Right. Like it should
science.
Right? Science, right? Yeah,
I've got one campaign coming up, and then we'll have yours to compare to.
Right. Yeah. Because keywords are a thing. Definitely a thing. So I want to make sure that, because like I said, Tall Tales is it has its growth spurts. Poor thing. But like I said, I'm really happy with how the campaign did, because it did do better. I mean, I would be concerned if it didn't. But actually I'm more concerned that it did, because now, like, what did I do? I don't know what I did. To get it to kind of like, let's see. Shifters going with the D&D race. Oh, okay.
Only because people are too scared to be like, oh no, a fuckable humanoid fucking fox. Oh no, but they turn into a human, so it's okay.
It's okay. It's an alien. It's an alien. That was another one that I used to see a lot of. It's like, oh, it's not a furry, it's an alien. Because I think Star Trek used to have, I say, Nicholas goes, honestly, as the term furry is regarded so derogatory, I can see the appeal. Conversely, the furry community does lay down money like no one else. Do. So that's kind of the dilemma that I am, because it's like, I'm kind of loath to not use it, because I want furries to know that this is a furry book. But how many more people am I turning off because of the word furry?
Trigger warning. Fuck you.
That's kind of how I feel. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, because like I said, so many people have been putting out furry books lately.
Well, let's see how the next campaign I run for the other client does. And if it fucking makes a significant difference, I'll let you know. But I honestly, I don't know. I don't know. We'll find out.
Right. That's true.
Because she is like, do not use the word furry. Okay. And I'm like, all right, gotcha.
Right. And also, I guess for the next campaign, the next Tall Tales campaign, that let's see, what was the last one? What was the last one?
Mark.
Oh, I get you so much. My book Judo Fist is the same way. Very hard sell. Yeah. And again, and I think what makes it funny is that all I sell is fantasy books.
Right.
It's like Eagle Raven's a fantasy, Tall Tales is a fantasy, Oswald is essentially a fantasy, right? But three completely different things. right?
Very little crossover.
Very little crossover. I mean, honestly, we only have an 8% crossover between the 3 books. People who collect all 3 titles. Very little. More people it's like I think more people collect Eager Raven and Tall Tales than they do Eager Raven and Oswald. And there is no real Tall Tales in Oswald. Like, to tell you the truth, that was the one combo I forgot to research. But I think it's less. I don't think that the people who collect Oswald actually collect Tall Tales. But yeah, it's just, but even then it's like we're talking about like a 20% overlap. So I still have 80% of our audience that they only collect 1 book out of the 3. And it's just like, wow, it's like you would think that somebody who enjoys fantasy would collect fantasy, right? It's like, no, they're very particular about which kind of fantasy that they buy. So that's something that I always have to keep in mind, that it's like, okay, so it's like, yeah. So let's see. Nicholas goes, it seems to me that you have been such an influence on the furry community that bailing on the term would sound like that you're ashamed, but you aren't. Yeah, I'm not. I would be more worried about isolating your existing fan base, chasing the new. Yeah,
Very good point.
Yeah, no, yeah. That's why I'm kind of like hesitant, but because I'm not completely convinced it's the word, it's
Right.
like, I don't know.
Well, we'll
I
find
don't
out.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know what? I think I'm gonna stick with it for now. Unless that there's like something significant that pops up in the data, that it's like, okay, it's like, well, maybe the right people will know or something.
Yeah, if we
I don't
jump
know.
a percentile in this other campaign, I'll be like, Daphne,
Right?
look at
Yeah.
this. But I don't
Right.
know.
Exactly.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
although oh my goodness. So, although the thing that you were talking to me about the other day about Facebook, right?
Mhm.
Speaking of not safe for work,
Ha.
right? Um, would you like, do you want to talk about your experience with that, or you want to
I mean, I
just,
don't care. We can. Basically,
right,
I posted some art that I exposed the nipples on because there is a clause in Facebook's nudity policy that allows artistic perspective as long as it's not hyper realism. Like if you
right,
can glance at the image and tell that this is not a real person. However, I shared a fucking painting that I
right,
could take my kids to a museum and
right,
see.
right, yeah,
And Facebook banned me or took it down and then contested. So I contested it and they said no and they still took it down. Well, when you have a pro account, you're allowed a second contesting. So I contested again and they still were like, nope, we're taking it down. Not only are we taking it down, we're demonetizing you. And I'm like, wow, you motherfuckers.
right,
And then, but because there's money involved, I am now allowed a trial by jury of my peers
oh,
in the form of Facebook has an overview board now
uh-huh,
for people that have paid accounts, and what they do is they allow you to write up a summary as to why you feel it's unfair for your shit to be taken down or for you to be
right,
demonetized over it or whatever. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. If they're gonna fucking mute me and bury my shit in the feed anyway, I'm gonna go for it.
right,
And so I wrote an essay to the fucking review board and they reviewed it and they have to review it within 48 hours because you're talking about people's money. And they were like, you know what? You're right. And they put that shit right back on Facebook.
oh, so you literally fought Facebook and won, right? I
Yeah.
mean, but the thing is that you are following their rules.
Right. Right.
It's what I said before. It's like, even if somebody was reporting the images because they don't like you were
Right.
still following Facebook's rules.
Right.
So, because that was a suspicion that she was getting so many dings all of a sudden, that we thought somebody was reporting the images.
With art, pornography is banned, not nudity. And
Right.
there is a fucking difference.
No,
There is no
absolutely.
groping, no
Because when you
penetration, no
catch that pornography spam on Facebook, you definitely can tell the difference.
Right, right.
So yeah. Which, so really getting to know the Facebook rules, has us kind of like rethinking a lot of things that it's like, you know, like that. But yeah, so I'm just really happy with here's a question that maybe I should throw out to everybody, considering that I don't know. It's like I want to ask, but I don't want to ask.
Ask. Fucking do it. What?
So the last campaign of the year that I decided that so after Eager Raven, right, volume 2, I'm going to put out the first sketchbook collection of House of Bob. I pretty much have the file done. I just have to put together another book so I can get a proof of that. I think it's just the cover I have to put together. No, it's the whole thing. No, it's the whole thing I have to put together. But it's, it's fine. It's not that bad. And then after that, I wasn't quite sure. Well, after that is going to be volume 1 of Tears of the Mother. So it's going to be collecting. So that volume is going to be collecting issues 1 through 4 because it is an 8-issue limited series. Should I wait on putting out the trade and just put out the next issue, like issue 7? Or does it matter at this point?
I don't think it matters.
I don't think it, yeah, right?
No, I don't think it matters.
Right. Because here's something that I wanted to talk about with everybody, right? So on author threads, right? Which has now descended into Twitter levels, so I don't like to go over there anymore. So an author had posted up a thing where she said that she was really angry at people who would write to her and say, I'm not going to pick up your first volume until your entire series is done. Now, I don't remember in this case whether she had a 3-volume series or something, but it was a volume, it was a volume 1 that she was putting out. And she had people telling her, I'm not going to buy volume 1 until your series is finished, and then I'm going to buy all of them together. And mind you, these are novels, right? And she got mad because she said that people who wait to get for the entire series to finish is essentially waiting is essentially expecting her to work for free, because she feels that if you don't buy the first volume, where's the incentive to continue with the second volume? Which was kind of a strange thing.
Pornography.
Me too,
Pornography.
Steph. Me too. I'm here for that too. So so she was like saying, well, what's the incentive? Right now, I don't know if she was speaking that in the context of her publisher not having an incentive to buy the rest of her series, or whether she didn't have an incentive. If you didn't pick up volume 1, she didn't have an incentive to finish volume 2, I guess. And coincidentally, later on, I watched a video from this other author who essentially did that. She goes that she started a series and then saw that the interest was lackluster, so she just abandoned it.
So she obviously didn't give a fuck about it to begin with.
Right. And I'm just kind of wondering, I mean, because I've never really heard this in context of comics, except for maybe one time. And that was like some creators at Image were complaining that if you'd wait until you buy the trade, you don't buy enough of the individual issues to support the trade. So if you don't buy the individual issues, we're not making enough money to make the trade. But like I said, I've only heard that once. I don't know whether that's still a thing, but it's like is there such a thing as like issue fatigue? Like, are people, like, am I talking about two different audiences here? Like the people who collect individual issues and the people who collect trades are like two different people. Like I suspect that they are, but sometimes, I figure I have to say it out loud to see if the idea makes sense. I know that we've talked about it, before behind the scenes, but I'm just kind of like throwing that out there it's like, do you think like, is there a point where you stop collecting an issue, like an individual issue, like, and just like collect trades, or do you do both? Or,
Okay,
like,
so I only collect trades now.
right,
I'm a trade chaser, and
right.
reason being is I've run out of fucking room and
Oh,
money.
well, right.
Like seriously, like I have
Uh-huh.
long boxes. Like if y'all could see this fucking mess right here,
Right,
just overflowing. I've got fucking comics on the floor. I've got floppies and piles over here. I've got
right.
floppies in the shelves at the bottom. The
Uh-huh.
floppies everywhere. And I just prefer the way the trades look. And
Right,
well, when I clean my office, I prefer the way the trades look right now. Don't look
right,
at them, but I prefer trades unless I've already begun collecting the floppies. If I've already started, I'm going to continue until that series is done just
right.
because I'm OCD like that. But
Uh-huh.
new shit, I'm waiting because for
Right,
one, everybody's putting out a fucking issue 1 and they leave you on a goddamn cliffhanger, and half the time you don't even ever see issue 2.
right,
So, no, I ain't wasting my money no more.
right. So, pretty much like say for some, like, instead of like putting out the trade, I just finished the individual issues first. Do you think that that would matter, or it's just like two different things? Grant says, I definitely have issue fatigue. Just like trade paperbacks, I just like trade paperbacks better, not having to go through the store and back each individual issue. Yeah, because that's how I am too. I mean, I'm still putting out. Steph says I could have sold a bunch of creator books on free comic book day if I had issue 1 of their stories.
It does.
Uh, she needs a front loader. Yeah. You know,
On the next edition of Hoarders.
right. Yeah. Yeah. No, you're not a hoarder. You're a maximalist.
Yes.
Because it's like, look, I mean, because also the other thing that I was, like, you know me, I always like to say, oh, you can't satisfy every niche, so just
Okay.
do, yeah, well,
The only reason I can say see it being beneficial for you to delay the launch of the trade,
right,
which I don't think you should do because of built interest already.
right, yeah, yeah,
And people that are waiting, because if
uh-huh,
they have to wait for fucking for the end of the series to get the
right.
first trade, they may lose interest.
So there's that
I
to
would go
think
ahead and
about.
bring it out, unless the only exception I see that would make a difference would be a financial marker, and that would be if during that time while you ran the plan was to color the trade paperback. Other than that, no, run
Right.
it.
Just run the trade. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I figure like doing it at the end of the year is so it'll end up the last book. I think the last book of the year, campaign of the
right,
year. Um I think that I would probably leave a good enough gap between this campaign and that trade campaign.
right. Yeah,
Because I think because originally it was supposed to launch closer, and that was the thing that kind of was bothering me. That's like, maybe I should like spread it out a little bit
right.
so
Yeah,
it
you
does. Yeah, maybe I should have done that. You know? That it didn't feel like, oh, I could have, if I had just waited 2 months, I could have just gotten the trade
right.
instead of, but at least this way it's like, no, the trade's gonna launch at the end of the year. So yeah, you know what, yeah, I feel a lot better about that
Right.
schedule now that I'm really thinking about it, because I also had to remind myself that it's May.
God.
That it's May, and I'm talking about releasing the trade probably like the end of June. No, end of November.
Hmm.
Yeah, end of November. So we're in May. So the next time you're going to see Tall Tales is in November, December.
Right.
So yeah, I think that would space it out. That would be a good space so that it didn't feel like it was too close to the end.
Right.
Also, it'll also give me the time to finish issues 7 and 8. I still have to pencil that. I still have to pencil those. Because speaking of penciling, I did start penciling issue 13 of Eager Raven. So that's moving along. So yeah, so oh my god. Just the fact that so yeah, so that's moving along. So I'm hoping to have issue 13 penciled and lettered this month. So yeah, so I'm looking at penciling those last 2 issues of Tall Tales, probably like the last probably like the last probably around when that campaign launches. I'm going to be penciling issues 7 and 8 for Tall Tales, because I definitely want to finish those this year. I want to get all my penciling done.
Right.
Well, what are you laughing at, Nita? I need to
The king of fucking covers, right?
yeah, sure.
Oh, damn.
Right. Oh, here's another question, right?
Okay.
Because this is also the other thing that made me think of the whole issue fatigue, which I guess it isn't, it's 2 different audiences, so it's not really something for me to think of, I guess. But like, when you hear a creator say that their series is 104 issues,
Oh boy.
at what point is the issues too much?
Depends. Are these
Story,
the
a story.
104 already written issues that I'm guaranteed I'm going to get a complete story? Or are they writing them as they go? Like, oh, I'm on issue 2, but I had planned 104 issues.
That
Like,
was well, who did I don't know, because I've heard this, because it's almost like a stereotype. You have the person go, oh, it's like they're on issue 1. How long is the series? Oh, it's an 87 issue epic
but
or
where? Oh,
something.
yeah. You know what?
Yeah,
Nope. I ain't got time, because how long am I going to wait for that? Because
right,
on average, we're lucky if we get 3 floppies. Lucky if we get
right.
3 floppies a year. That's a
Yeah,
long ass wait. I don't have
right,
15 years of my life to devote to you. I
right.
barely can devote that time to my
Because
husband.
when I heard 104 issues, that they had 104 issues scripted, I think. I don't know. I don't remember. Like I said, a lot of people say this. I kind of did a quick math on it, right? And it's like, even if you were able to run a Kickstarter a month, it'll still take about 9 years to release this series.
Right.
People who have written 100 plus issues before printing out issue 1 are doing that because they're afraid of failure. Oh, do you think it's kind of
Ooh.
like a delay tactic? You know,
Million
a
issues.
million issues. It's kind of like, like the people who I haven't written my novel yet because I'm still world building,
Oh, geez. Yeah.
right? So, I say, who has that much time to devote to their own series unless that's their full-time job and release monthly? Yeah, you see, and that's the thing. If you say my feed, oh my God, Steph's looking to
Boy, Steph is trolling today.
Steph is gonna get, I'll knock you out. Don't start fights in the chat, Steph. We love Rob. We love the Wolf Daddy. Don't fight.
Don't
Wolf
call
Daddy.
him that. It makes me feel dirty.
What? Oh, Wolf.
Wolf
Oh,
Daddy.
that's right. We had this discussion.
That makes me feel dirty, Daphne. Don't.
Yes, he's Wolf Dad.
God, that makes it so much better.
Oh my God. It's kind of like the difference between a butt dial and a booty call.
Yeah,
Yeah. Different things. Yeah, but Steph, don't start fights in the chat. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, like even if you were to put out a book monthly, it would that book.
Yeah, 9
It would
years
still take
later.
9 years. Look,
Right.
I had the sweats just realizing it would take me until 2025 to finish Eager Raven.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's like, oh my God, that's going to take, a long time, and it's like, and here I am on issue 13. Also, I was just really happy though that I figured out something. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. That I figured out how I was going to segue between the comic and the novels. And I was so happy to figure it out yesterday. It made me change something in the last issue of Eagle Raven, but I think it's going to be worth it. Because now it's like technically I'm going to have, well, it's not, you see, this is what I haven't figured out yet, right? Because the segue happens in an epilogue that technically I had written as a goof, but now I figured out a way to actually use it, that I could actually like draw this out and use it. I just haven't figured out whether this epilogue is going to be something I add to the comic or whether it's going to be a separate thing, like I did when I did Viking Slut and I had the supplement.
Right.
Where it's like, just use it as a stretch goal. If we reach X amount on the last book, that we'll have the epilogue added to the comic. Because I was kind of thinking, like I really wanted that maybe I really wanted Eagle Raven, the comic, to be as much of a standalone as possible. So that if somebody, I don't know, like just wasn't into reading the novels, it didn't feel like they were missing out, like in the book itself. Like the book is just its own story. Like you could just read the comic and you're good to go. Right. But the thing is though, it's like I really wanted this epilogue that leads into the novel, but I just haven't decided whether I wanted it to be a separate thing, like how separate I wanted it, because in the end I do want people to read the novels later, or listen to the audiobook when I read everything out loud. I really got to do the next I got to do the next chapter. I got to do the next chapter. Yeah, so I was just really happy because it required me to figure out some timeline stuff that for the longest time was. Now, of course, none of this makes sense to anybody because this is how my creative process works, right? I just start like mumbling stuff about what's going on in my story, and then I just keep mumbling until something clicks. That's how I world build. That's how I do the story. I just start literally talking to myself and talking about all these scenarios, like okay, like there was like how would I explain the timeline difference between the God realm and the mortal realm? Because technically the next novel, Cult of the Wolf Witch, kind of messes up the timeline for that epilogue and the jump to that book. Right. And I had to sit here and kind of like figure out, well, what if how time works in the God realm is completely different from how time works in the mortal realm, which means that technically I could have overlapping timelines that make no sense. Ooh. As long as I explain it in a way that makes sense. Because
that is brilliant.
Let's see. Imagine says, I sell my single issues in black and white, but my trades will be in color. Oh, yes. So I treat them like different products.
That is what I'm trying to talk people into.
Yeah, no, me and Nita were talking about that. But the thing is that this was also something me and Jose were talking Art victim, good morning to you both. I keep mumbling. The rambles come together somehow. Nerds speak. Well, you see, that's the thing, because it did come together. Crap a multiverse. No, it was more like just like, yeah, like I said, it's like I just have to explain the timeline and why the timelines don't add up, why they don't work together, right? And it's like, and I just have to explain it in a way that's like, well, it wouldn't work. But in the end, that requires me torturing one of my characters. So it's like, okay, okay, let's figure this out. Right. So yes, I was really happy that now there's an epilogue that bridges between the comic and the novel. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the something like that. But you know, so because the gods are not straightforward. The gods are never straightforward. So so why pretend?
There's a fox eating Swedish fish wearing clothes. Who gives a fuck?
Exactly. Yeah. No. You see, but it has to make sense for me for it to work. So because
it already makes sense. You don't have to explain. If you made sense in your head,
I made the notes already. I already already
gotcha.
mapped it out. That's the thing. I mumbled.
Pulled it out.
I mapped it out. And now this whole multiverse thing works. It's not a multiverse though. It's just the timelines, yes, color, right? So that was something that me and Jose had been talking about for a bit, because it's like he was talking about, it's like, we really should do Tall Tales in color. But I mean, we're talking about like almost 1,000 pages worth of story.
I think you should too, because I think that is where you'll see a jump.
Because it's like, because we have done Tall Tales in color before, right? Because it's like everybody remembers this. This came out like last year, right? So this is my first full color Tall Tales book. After we did this, right, I was kind of like really unsure whether getting the rest of the series would work in color. But Jose goes, it's like we really need to do this.
I really think you guys should.
It's just kind of like the logistics around it, because the thing is like he has something like that. So he has a colorist that he thinks that would be good for it. But the trick is, if I have to do color keys for each character, it might be easier for me to
just color it yourself. Yeah, just flat it yourself.
If not myself.
Color it. If not,
color it. I mean, it depends on what the person does on top of my work, if on top of my flats. So we haven't figured out the logistics of that yet, because also this might be the first time where we would literally be using Kickstarter.
You are not the only person.
No, I completely understand that. That Rob says that that black and white comics makes it harder for him to read a comic because of his dyslexia than if he was reading a color comic. And it's like, I think that I can understand that. Yeah, like you visually need that a higher contrast. Yep. That's not just straight black and white. Like you really do need the color to make those letters pop out more. So, I mean, and I do have to admit too, it's like, even for myself, Ego Raven is easier to read than Tall Tales is. Yes. Because of the black and white. So it would probably be the first time we'd run campaigns to pay for the coloring. Like, I don't know, like how, like I said, we're still kind of like working on the logistics. Cause like I said, we have I think like just the Thieves Quest is like 600 pages that we would have to get colored, so it's like, yeah, we're still playing around with the idea, but hey, I mean, considering, yeah, that might be the growth jump that might be what we need to get that jump, um or if it's just, just to get it creep up more, because look, in the end, it's like, I'm just happy that this campaign outperformed the previous campaign.
Right.
Because honestly, it's like, in the end, it's like, that's what I want. I'm not, yeah, would have been nice to have like to have like a really significant jump. Sure, it's always nice, but if I can just keep going forward, that's the important part.
Right.
However I need to do it. It's like, whether my next campaign makes 1,000, or or the next campaign gets more backers, or the next campaign, however it goes. But yeah, I think at this point I'm just rambling. I'm just I think at the end of every campaign, I'm always like this. It's kind of like a deflated balloon, where it's like, when you turn off that,
Yeah, and you
that
go
guy,
through the
it's like,
whole woulda, coulda, shoulda.
actually, no, not the woulda, not this time around. Not this time around. I don't have, it's funny, I really don't have that much woulda, coulda, shoulda. Although after your whole thing with Facebook though, I mean, I started woulda, coulda, shoulding Viking slut, that's for sure.
Right.
But the thing is though, it's like, as much as I'm tempted to just do brand new covers and re-release that campaign, I think I'm going to wait on that. I'm going to wait on that idea. Because it's like, it's that campaign was a lot of work.
Yeah, it was.
And I don't know if I want to go through that again so soon right now, especially when my focus is finishing the series.
Right.
Both Eager Raven and Tall Tales. So I guess my priorities are just a little different now. So, but in terms of woulda, coulda, shoulda with this campaign, I don't know. Maybe, I mean, the only thing that I could think of is like, maybe I should have posted more, but I don't know. I mean,
It was out there.
Yeah, it was out there. And this time, I'd like to thank all the people who shared the campaign. I'd especially like to give a thanks to Gage the Wolf, who really, like, it just seemed like every time I posted something, he reposted it. So I was just, so I was really happy to see that a lot, like, it seemed like a lot more people were helping spread the word about the book. So I want to thank everybody who did that. But in terms of, like, I don't know, do you think that there was we shouldas on this campaign?
No, I think
we should have done this. We should have done that.
Should have had it colored.
Well, eventually.
That's it. That's
right.
Just to me,
Like,
that's
you really do think color is like,
I think color will make
next step
all the
for
difference
this.
in the world in Tall Tales. And here's why, okay? Because this is going to sound like a really cunt thing for some
Right.
people. And if I hurt your feelings, I'm sorry. The only comics that do well in black and white anymore, now that it's now that the cost is kind of similar,
Right,
are highly detailed, talking these motherfuckers put lace and pen and ink each individual brick,
like,
the
really
super
high-end
detailed shit, or certain styles of horror comics. That's it.
Right.
That's it.
Those are the only things that work in black and white.
Those are the only things I see really working in black and white.
Right.
And come at me and be like, oh, my black and white comic made 15 bitch, I'm gonna tell you now, your black and white comic would have made twice as much had it been in color. That's it's just
right. Right. Well, I mean, I'd always like to fail at 15.
Well, I'm just
I'd like to
saying.
pay like 50.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Right.
There is a significant preference for color. There are
Right.
people who appreciate lines and do like lines,
Uh-huh.
and like and Eastern, yeah, manga.
Right.
Eastern, yeah, they
Yeah,
do well.
that's true.
They do well in black and white,
Right.
but they also are, for the most part, carrying a better story than some of these indie people.
Well,
But however,
it's a
that's not the
different
case with
aesthetic.
Tall
Right.
Tales,
You're right.
which is like really sad because I don't think people have an appreciation for JD's writing. They really
Right.
need to fucking give this book a chance. Like,
Right.
I'm dead. All of them, all of the Tall Tales were very well
Right.
written.
Oh, that's true. I really, because it's like, because it is funny how, like, Jose was saying the other day, how someone told him, it's like, I finally read Oswald.
Right.
And wow, that was a really good book. And just the amount of times we've heard that, like, how many times people, like, they kind of admit that they read the book when I guess in other circumstances they wouldn't have. Like, it's almost
Right.
like people buy comics to not read. There's this
Well,
joke
some
that I
people
keep
do.
seeing where it's like they said that reading books and buying books are two different hobbies.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of wondering if it's the same thing with comics, that reading comics and buying comics, like collecting comics, are two different hobbies.
Right.
That just because you're buying a book, buying a comic, like, which hobby are you doing that under? Are you buying to read or buying to collect?
I do
Because
both.
right. Because because I buy to read. If I'm going to buy a book, I want to read it. Because again, it's like, you kind of have to earn your keep in this office. And the
Right.
way to do it is to be either really, really beautiful or really, really well written.
Or have an Arthur Adams cover in my house.
That's true too. Yeah, that would help.
Because I haven't read that.
Right. Well,
Don't plan on it either.
right. But it is an
But
Arthur
she's
Adams
hot,
cover.
right?
No,
Yeah.
it's an Arthur Adams cover. You can't say no to it, So yeah, so it's just kind of funny when people finally admit that they read the book.
Right.
And they go, "Oh, it's actually good." Which I don't know if that's indicative of how many people don't read the comics that they buy. Or whether their standards for the stories are so low, they don't expect them to be good, so they don't bother.
Wow.
And I don't know which one's worse, really. Which one? It's like, I think they're both awful. Art Victim says, I feel color is important as well for most Western comic buyers. Maybe it's because I like it so much, though I do think about doing coloring books, though. Yeah, that's kind of like, yeah, my to be read pile is giant. Yeah, Jose's too. He has all over the house. But yeah, like I'm kind of so it kind of makes me wonder, like, which option's better? It's like you didn't read it because you just collect books, or you didn't read it because you were expecting it to be bad anyway. It's like, yeah. Oh my goodness. But like I said, I'm kind of rambling at this point because I think there was like one more thing I wanted to just bring up. It was something about if you're not interested in a book, it doesn't matter if it's good.
Right.
Because if you're not interested, it doesn't matter what marketing you do on it. Like, I think that a lot of people confuse, I have a good book. I have a good book.
With I have a book you'll like.
Right. As opposed to, do I have a book you're interested in?
Right.
Right. Which is also two different things. Right.
Very much so.
And, and I guess like that's kind of like the dilemma, like I always have. It's like, we can say that, Tall Tales, Oswald, Eager Raven, they're good books.
Right.
But how do I keep getting the attraction of people who'd be interested in these books? And that's also another thing. Like,
Well,
with
first of all,
Tolkien.
you got to find the genre, the fantasy
Right,
people.
right, yeah.
Okay,
And
like I don't back or buy superhero books.
right,
There are some great ones. There are some out there with amazing fucking
right.
art.
Uh-huh.
It's not my thing.
Right.
It's not exhaustion either. It never has been.
Right.
I've
So, yeah.
never gotten
Right.
the closest thing to a superhero that I actually got involved in, and it wasn't even a superhero, it was Max.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. The others are for cover art.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, so that's the thing that, also it's like, I guess that's the whole thing with the whole furry word, right? Like,
Right.
I want to keep using that word in the end because I want to make sure that I'm showing people that this might be something they're interested in. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I get it.
Like, yeah, because I could say it's
Oh.
good. Oh, Faust, great superhero comic. It's like I could say,
Favorite.
right, I could say this is a good book, but how do I portray, how do I, get across this might be something you're interested in? Because good is subjective, right? I mean, it's like, yeah, it's very easy for us to say, it's like, oh, I know a good book. I know a good book. And it's like, yeah, but what you think is a good book, I don't think is a good book.
Right.
Right. So yeah, so that's the thing with Tall Tales. It's like, okay, so it's like, I can say it's a good series till I'm blue in the face, but
Right.
am I saying it to the people who would be interested in the book? And that's kind of like, it's like, okay, so, if you're into furry, but you don't like the furry word, right? What else do I have to say to bring forth whether you're interested, whether this is something you'd be interested in? Or am I just garbling up a whole bunch of
No,
ideas?
people have to be, it has to be something they're interested in to
Right.
sell them on it, no matter how good it is.
Right.
There
Yeah.
are plenty of great superhero books. I can admit they're well written, but just from reading a little bit of what I have.
Right.
I mean, but it's just not my fucking jam.
Right. Yeah.
It's just not.
Right. Yeah, because it's like, yeah, because, like there was a point where Marvel was saying, how do we get people to read more superhero comics?
Right.
And it's like, well, the thing is that you don't. Because it's like you can advertise your superhero comics to me till you're blue in the face, and it's like, nah. So I'm not going to read, because it's like I'm not interested. And I think that's kind of like the mindset I'm trying to like switch over. It's like, it's not about, it sounds stupid. It's not about being good. It's about making sure the audience is interested.
Right.
I don't know if I don't know if I'm being clear
be
with that. Yeah, of course. I would like to think that what I'm writing is good, but the real door to open is interest, not quality. Is it? I mean, it's like, I don't because it's like, I think what it is that interest is kind of like the easiest marker, because like, okay, we have 3 fantasy books, right? So it should be easy to market to fantasy people, right? Okay, you're in that door, the interest door, but then now you see 3 more doors. Right? So now you have to go, okay, well, which door interests you the most? Does the mouse interest you the most? Does the furries interest you the most? Does the unicorn interest you the most? It's just like, and then it's like kind of like split off from there.
Right.
And then once they're in those doors, then that person gets to decide whether that's a good book or not. Because also there was a thing, I forgot who said it, that it's like, you're not the one that decides whether your book is good. It's your audience. It's the people reading your book. that decide whether your book is good. And then it's like kind of keeping that in mind. So technically interest comes before good, comes before quality, I guess. Although I don't want to say quality. It's like, because yeah, it's like Grant says, that's a dilemma. You find your niche, and then how do you bust out of that niche?
First, you got to figure out how to bust into that niche.
Right, exactly.
Like, that's crazy.
So that's
you could find your tiny audience,
right.
But then there's more people out there that are into
Right.
it, especially with fantasy
Right.
or genre based. But it's like, how do you just expand within your own niche, and then bust out of it?
Right. So it's like, how do I signal to the people who are into furry books but not into furry? Right? Like, how do I say, it's like, because it's like, by not, it's like, by not using the word furry, would that get their attention? Would I end up alienating the people who do use that as a code word for really showing their interest? I mean, yeah, it's kind of, so that's kind of like, it's not a woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? It's more like, okay, how can I build on this?
Right.
All right. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I think wouldas and couldas and shouldas, I should have done this, I could have done that. It's like, oh, if I could have done this, I would have done that. That's more like kind of past thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's like, but I think that by going, it's like, okay, all right, so how do we move forward, right? And you move forward by moving forward. So it's like, okay, so which direction do we go? And then it's like, so it's not it's not like regretting what you should have done.
Yeah, not regret. I didn't mean in the form of regret.
What your next steps are.
Right.
And then trying to figure out, like you said, it's like for you, and obviously a lot of people in the chat, you want to see Tall Tales in color.
Yeah.
That should be the next step. And then it's like, okay, now that I'm seeing a lot of furry type books, on Kickstarter and other crowdfunding sites, how do I attract the people? Say, oh, if you like that, you might be interested in my book too. It's like, does my, it's like, yeah. So that's what I just have to kind of like figure out. It's like, yeah. That's why the end of campaigns are so exhausting for me. This is how, and then it's like, oh,
your brain is making me need a nap.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I gotta sleep this off. But actually, I gotta go to the supermarket. So, I mean, I'm rambling anyway. So I guess we might as well just end it here. I'm just completely brain farting at this point. So. How about you, Nita? You got anything?
Yeah, first of all, it should be updated now in the group, but the new time for Sketchy Saturday is going to be noon Eastern starting tomorrow. So even though it fucking said 10 a.m. again, I don't know why. I edited it. Also, we've got, don't forget, Corey Hardiman has Sister Mercy issue 9 live on Kickstarter. Rob Multari has Nightwolf Volume 2. It's in sign up, also on Kickstarter. And Justin and Amy Hunt have Ninja Witch Dawn of Betrayal Part 2 live right now on Kickstarter as well. And hang tight after we say our goodbyes because I have a few bumps to play.
Right. Oh, also one more thing. I finally finished Chad's cover for Set the Hook.
Ah, yes.
So
and Chad Perkins, he's also in sign up.
Yes. So his book, Set the Hook, is also in sign up. All the links are in the show notes. And
or they will be.
Or they will be. So I did a variant cover for his campaign. It was a lot of fun doing it, very glittery. And I just so if you,
and there's neon shrimps.
No, it's a glitter shrimp now. The glitter shrimp.
Oh shit.
So imagine everything is Swarovski covered.
Jesus Christ.
Not neon. The neon wasn't working.
Well, now he needs a metal jewel cover for you.
Yes, he did. Yes. So it's like it's glitter. So the shrimp is made out of glitter technically. So if you want to collect that cover, the link, his campaign is in
Speak of the Devil.
Oh, there you go.
There's Corey.
Hello, yeah, Corey. Hello. The mid-campaign lull is always the rough part. So yeah, so you can collect my glitter cover. Unfortunately, it's not really, although it would be funny if he did print it on glitter paper. Like if he did
Oh shit.
But I don't know how, I don't think he's going to get that. But hey, whatever.
Hey, it's Dad.
There's an
We could
idea.
send him some Elmer's glue sticks and some
Oh
fucking
yeah,
glitter.
right. It's like just we can do like a 1 of 1. Oh my goodness. So that's it for me. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us in the chat. Thank you, everybody who pledged to the Tall Tales campaign. Thank you so much for making it this campaign outpace its previous iteration. I'll take all the wins, no matter how small. I'll take all of them. Thank you so much for supporting the campaign. And like I said, Eagle Raven Volume 2, the second that pre-launches up, you guys are going to know. So thank you so much for all your support. And yes, thank you so much to all the beautiful eyeball people joining us from regions beyond. Thank you so much for joining us for this kind of like rambly hour and a half ish. I hope you got something out of it, at least, So yeah, so that's it for us. We will be, so like Nita says, sketchy Saturday tomorrow. We will be back on Monday, where we'll probably be rambling again, but
Probably be doing drugs,
something
cocaine,
like
pornography.
No. Although I have to remember that word, pornography. I have to remember that. I have to use that somewhere in the next campaign. And the House of Bob campaign is too funny. So if you want to learn more about me and my artwork and all my other stuff, you can head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS, where you can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites. But I mostly post to Facebook if you're interested in seeing sketches and current work in progress updates. And remember, you can also catch me here on YouTube at my channel at Daphne Lage, Lage Art, for videos and semi-weekly art live streams Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. That also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network as well. So remember to make sure you like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. In the meantime, you can also read Eagle Raven Air the First Unicorn for free, uploading every day, Monday through Friday. But if you prefer your fantasy to be more of a furry Lord of the Rings adventure, however you want to word that, you can follow the link over to Tall Tales. That's TAILSonline.com. And not only can you read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free, but you can catch up on the latest story arc, Tears of the Mother, which is also currently uploading Monday through Friday. So if you missed the campaign today, you can still read it for free online, so you don't miss a thing. So when the next when the next campaign goes, Tall Tales campaign go live, you'll be ready. So thank you again, everybody, for everything. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next time. And in the words of the ancients, who are also really tired of my campaigns, eat your food, moisturize, mind your business, and do the work. Because when you actually do the work, I'm not kidding, people, it's worth everything. It's worth any it's worth it. Trust me, it's worth it. You don't have to fake your accomplishments. It's all right there on the page. Really, it's worth it. Thank you so much again for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Toodaloo.
Hey, kids, you want to see some great comics? It's Comic Book Show and Tell twice a week. Comics by Night every Friday at 5 a.m. Eastern. And the Sunday Funnies every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Indie Comics Network YouTube channel.
Void where prohibited, not available with any other offers. Side effects may include loss of boredom and a sudden urge to read more comics. Check with your doctor if a sudden rash appears.
What up, lovelies? This is Mike Jimmy, CEO of Ferris and creator of Love and Korra, now back with our 7th issue in the series, The Bond. Love and Korra is a series of one-shots building a world one story at a time. A couple of years ago I imagined a world and I told a couple of writers to go have fun in my sandbox. And so they did. Each adventure is unique and adds just a bit more to make this world feel more and more alive. They can be read separately and all contain a complete story. In our upcoming release, you follow Sevier and Aphil on their journey into maturity and find out if their friendship breaks down in rage or whether their bond is stronger than bad emotions. Now on Kickstarter and Fund My Comic.
Hi, I'm Damien and I'm the creator of Gunpowder. I've written and directed 2 feature films and I've been a cinematographer for over 10 years. Gunpowder was originally conceived as a feature film, and we even shot a concept trailer for the screenplay. It's an epic story set in a post-apocalyptic world where the forces of hell have overrun a small town and threaten to destroy what's left of the world. It's up to a small band of flawed survivors to fight them back, while at the same time battling their own inner demons. I'm excited to bring Gunpowder to life with the freedom that a graphic novel allows. Join us as our ragtag characters embark on this gripping battle for the soul of mankind.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.